Good morning. You're watching Morning at NTV, and time for us to take note. And for the last couple of months, we've been talking about how we need to talk about tech startups and how we can best help them. The last time we had a young gentleman talking about his innovation and saying that the government helps us, but. And the but was very, we're not going to go into that. But I thought to myself, what are these challenges? Why is it that just like how we say Ugandans are entrepreneurs, but the businesses start and after a year, you don't see them anymore. So we're very good at starting. It's just that we do not go any far. Now it's worse in the tech industry. And to discuss this is the country manager of ICDL Africa, not a stranger to NTV, Michael Niyitegeka. This is home, honestly.
If you say so, I take it with
Michael. I think even the viewers are like, oh, Michael. So good morning, Michael.
Morning, Flavia.
Yes, I think I saw something about tech startups on Twitter over the weekend, and someone was saying that it's like a song. There are too many ideas, too many people have started something, project innovation is somewhere, someone has started. The ideas are many. We're a young nation, so meaning the minds are young, but nowhere. We don't seem to go anywhere. We don't seem to be owning certain things and say Ugandans have this and that. And this morning, did I see that Rwanda is having their own Silicon Valley?
Yeah, they're building the the African Silicon Valley.
No.
They've actually started. And for them, by the time they show you, they're like,
by the way, yes.
Done.
But how is it Rwanda, not us, for example? Because I would have thought we were miles ahead of them.
And strangely, we have quite a number of guys who have come out of this market and gone and settled in Rwanda. And they're like, when those guys, when the government says we're going to do this for you, they will walk the talk. And it won't be a number of stories down the line. What we then see is that they're able to scale rather fast, but also they've done an amazing job in terms of positioning the country as a tech-friendly environment.
Okay.
Look at the number of conferences that are in Rwanda. Tech-related conference, the Smart Africa conference. You have... so the big one is the Smart Africa.
One can argue we also have conferences here.
No, but then beyond just having the conferences, the actions that come out of the conferences. When they hosted Jack Ma last year, Jack Ma went back this year and he has invested $10 million in just supporting both the tech startups. So he's taking guys to his company, Alibaba, but he's also going to take Rwandan products and put them onto Alibaba. So they don't host you and then just let you pass by. They will, if you make a commitment, they will follow you up to make that commitment work. But they also make the environment favorable for you that when you make your commitment, there is a return on investment for your commitment.
That's true, and that's very important.
It is extremely important.
Are we, however much we have young people with ideas, are we a country that operates on tech? We're not just on mobile phones and we use our computers when we really need to check in on social media, send an email. Are we really at a point where we can use tech for a lot of things, which means that these innovations have a home?
I guess there is a huge opportunity for us to apply technology. And the example you can give is just look at the different government initiatives, the national ID registration process. That's a huge opportunity for us to integrate technology. You've heard of APIs. We should be building APIs for connecting to the National ID Authority, Registration Authority. But you have back and forth policy statements that need to be declared or cleared or whatever. There is always a reason why it can't happen now. And so what happens then is that by the time you think you want to open up, maybe it's been overtaken by... one time I asked a government official, I said, how much money did we spend in the last financial year on technology-related services?
High or low? Non-existent?
We couldn't get the figure. I couldn't get the figure right there. And the question for me was, how much of that went to the Ugandan ecosystem? Because if you're going to build the tech ecosystem, you also have to be deliberate with making sure that we consume local.
Yes.
And I guess that's the biggest challenge that we have. You mentioned Rwanda. There's this guy, Patrick Buchana. I think he's now about 25. Really random, was building a card system that would enable you to like swipe when you enter the bus. And the next thing was government saying, the president said, tweeted and said, what support do you need
to scale this?
The rest is history. Buchana is now doing 1 million transactions per month. And he's gone to Lagos and Dakar, supported by the government. They have put every resource at his disposal to make him work. Every conference that comes into Rwanda,
he's at the forefront.
He's at the forefront because all the tourists will get those cards. I mean, the conference attendants will get those cards. I mean, that's a support that we talk about.
Yeah.
So if you're going into health, what challenges do we have as a government? And can we throw it back to the tech innovators?
Yes.
Because there are people you meet in some of these meetings, and they are consultants who have flown into this country, and they're telling you you're building a database, and you're like, okay, good Lord, database.
A Ugandan could not...
Of course, the Ugandans are building these things.
Yes.
So for me, that is the kind of incentive structure that we are looking for. And when everything has been done, you've gotten the muscle, you understand the rigors, then you can have all the crazy ideas. But what we're having here is, out of frustration, a guy comes up with an app to help you tell the weather. And I'm like, yeah, I can probably Google, and Google will tell me the weather in Kampala. And he says, yeah, but I want to localize it. Okay, so how further can you localize it? But really out of frustration. You have a conversation with him, or he's at university and he says they can't easily find results. He builds an app to help you find your results. And I'm like, but if the university decides to make this available, are you still in business?
No.
He says, yeah, we shall see. But no, you can't. So you either go to the university and tell them, can I do this for you? Can we have a revenue share?
I think that's one of the challenges on the end of the innovators' sustainability. Some of their innovations and ideas won't stay for a while. Someone told me actually some of their ideas, if you're still in the idea phase this year, next year you might find someone has already improved your idea and yours is still at idea.
Yeah, so in tech we talk about use case.
Okay.
So use case is that, who is this person that you're building this for?
Okay.
And when they're building software, then we start asking them things we call story maps. So I am building this for Flavia. Flavia is this person, and Flavia has this problem, and this problem is manifested in this way. Now, the essence is that when you start building, you're building for a profile.
Okay.
So if you're building for a farmer, I ask the question, which farmer? Where are they located?
Yes.
Can they speak English? Which phone do they have? Do they have a user group? And is that user group? So you're able to profile this individual. Now, what do we see? You have a hackathon that is trying to build an app. A hackathon will come and say, how do we eliminate the middleman?
Yes. This is the problem, give us solutions.
Yeah, so how do we need to make sure that we improve farm gate prices. One of the things we realize is that the middlemen are cheating farmers.
Yes.
So we come here and build an app, one, that collects market information, two, that enables the farmer to log in and see the prices. Then I asked one of the guys who are building this app, I said, so which farmer
understands that anyway? I mean,
yeah, which
honestly.
They understand that the potential could be getting better prices.
Yes.
That they do. I always refer to a story I had in Bushenyi of a gentleman from the Banyankole Kweterana days. Every single night he listened to BBC Swahili markets. And he listened to the closing price for coffee. So if you went to buy coffee from him, he would tell you, but the market went up.
Ooh.
Now, the challenge was to explain to him that the market going up in London does not necessarily
Uganda.
mean in Uganda. That could take another probably 2, 3, 4 days for it to happen. So that's some of the things that we really need to work on. So there are these developers or innovators who have done amazing work in building creative stuff. And you find they're building it for an individual, but probably the proper business case is building it for government.
Okay. So that's one of the challenges. They don't know who they're doing it for.
Who would probably be the right market to target?
Okay.
So if it is health, it's like I always refer to the guys I was working with were building a TB app, a TB technology. And I said, guys, move it off the phone. It shouldn't be an app. Let's build a kit. Like you have a breathalyzer kit.
Yes.
Let's build a TB kit, testing kit. And who's your client? Government and health facilities, not individual.
Not me, the patient. Could be patient.
If you wake up in the morning and you start coughing, or you have this persistent cough,
and you go and buy the kit.
What is the chance out of 10 that you're going to think about TB?
No, it's not.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And yet you have a smartphone, and probably you could afford.
Yes.
So I said, it has never crossed my mind.
So don't target me.
Don't target me. Target the health facilities, because your current TB testing process is such a long process. And because it is a long process, you're shortening it. You're creating an intervention. And TB is a global issue. That's why there's a lot of money in TB. But you see, the positioning from the word go was this app, you can have it. When you feel you're not okay, cough.
And it tells you whether you have TB or not.
Whether I have TB or not.
let me ask you, I don't know if this is a question, or it could be a question of scaling and funding, but one of the challenges is that, I think this was said in agriculture as well, where they said we don't want as farmers to be the ones to go negotiate our prices on the world market. Government should stand for us. And then come back and, tell us, because if we stand alone, then depending on if Michael negotiates better to Kenya, and then Flavia goes and negotiates better to Tanzania, then I have a better, we're too spread out, and we're spread out thin. Instead, it should be government standing there for us. The same way, I think you've just given an example of Rwanda, where you say, government then says, what do you need? We will send you in as Rwanda. Come back, we'll share. We'll say this. We don't see that here.
Yeah, so let's go to agriculture, for example. We're very good within ideas in this country. You had it's now an authority. Yes, Receipt Warehousing Authority. And then you have the Uganda Commodities Exchange.
Yes.
Now, the receipt warehouse system was that you go to a warehouse, you're not ready to sell, deposit your stuff, they give you a receipt, and that receipt can be taken to the bank. And you can use it as collateral because you have stock somewhere. Yes. Now you have the Uganda Commodities Exchange, where you really, like a stock exchange, are able to see the movement of prices down or low. And then as a farmer, I can say, I think I want to sell now. Now that was a rich, and still is a rich area for technology. So your farmer in Kasese can take their stock to a warehouse in Kasese. And there is one, I think, in Kasese, Nyakatonzi Growers. They have a warehouse. Now, when they take their crop to Kasese, to Nyakatonzi, now there is a need for a device, because his receipt is an electronic receipt, probably. But he's able to notice, he wakes up in the morning, like you have your stock exchange, and it's saying, the asking price for maize today is at 500 shillings per kilo. Now I have an option to sell or to stay put.
Yes. Wait for it to...
Yeah, to get to a price where I'm comfortable. Now, what am I doing? I'm putting the power of decision to the farmer. And we've had conversations, but you see, the challenge sometimes you don't know who to talk to. If you, let's say you go to the Ministry of Agriculture.
As but there's a ministry, Michael.
So you'll find the Commodities Exchange, I think, is a Ministry of Trade.
So that's,
as well as the Receipt Warehouse System. It is, I think, in the Ministry of Trade. But they're all dealing with agricultural products. So if you go to agriculture, you'll find somebody who is in charge of.
It's called a process.
It's a process.
It's a process.
So I guess we need to reorganize if some of these things are going to work. And like we see very many places where technology could play a role.
Yeah.
But your biggest consumer is not the individual. Your biggest consumer is going to be the big entities like the American government with the support they give us. Your biggest consumer is going to be the Ministry of Health, the Ministry of Agriculture, the Ministry of Education. All these guys are going to play a big role, and they have to be at the forefront because your guy in Chikubo has money, but he has a way of making money.
And it works for him.
And it works for him.
So to tell him to change from what works for him.
Thank you. It's like how online banking is beginning to pick up.
Yes.
It is when they realize that actually I can wire money from this account of mine to China without carrying cash. It makes sense. You don't have to do a lot of, once you eliminate their fear, because their fear is, who else is seeing my money?
You have access, the other person has. How do I know? It's just
who else is peeping into my account?
So what I'm hearing is another challenge is changing people's mindsets. You know that if you're starting something that you know we're stuck in our ways,
and especially the private sector. That's number one. Number two, we need to go in and first study them.
Okay.
And then come back and show them that you're actually losing this value.
By not going this way.
By not going this way. What are we doing? We build first and then take to them. And then they ask you the question, who told you I have this problem?
Yes.
Now, you have also not validated whether that is a real problem.
So are we doing, when they talk about we're doing research and research and development and it's expensive, they're saying they're doing research after they have the product already?
Yeah, so sometimes it happens that way, that you build, and that's what we see sometimes. You build, and then you go to the funder, and the funder tells you, but I don't see the real problem here. Then you kind of go back. I mean, as a matter of fact, because of these conversations that we are having, with a group of other people, said, you know what, can we do something in this space? So we started a 3-month boot camp. Working with Clark International University. And the intention is to get guys, first of all, hands dirty. Change their mindset that you're a software developer, but you need a health expert.
Yes. Like we had a young lady who does glasses.
Yes.
She came from like marketing and human resource and she said, I've got no idea. So I have someone who is skilled at the health part to know that part.
Yes, and that is one of the biggest challenges we've had, that the IT guys talk to themselves.
And we don't understand what
Thank you.
Honestly.
So one of the things that we were trying to do is to open up this program and get in business guys, get in a nurse, get in a pharmacist. And then you realize that as an IT person, there is a role you have to play, but there are also other people
system
that need to come in. And what are we seeing? We're beginning to see a debugging of their own thinking that I can't do this alone. I need someone else.
For it to succeed, it's a whole group of people.
It's a cycle, and that's why they talk about the ecosystem.
Yes.
And we hope that if we model this program, we will be in a position to then have people who come into the industry and are ready to spend time understanding the use case and the people that are potential users before they start building.
What do we consider a successful tech product? People using my product at that point?
Yes, and it could even be trial, because we ask the guys, do you have friends? How many of your friends? Yeah, how many of your friends look at this as a utility? Because if you go to apps, if it takes me 6 months to use your app, then it's a dead on the word go. So rethink your model.
Yes.
When you look at apps that have been consistent, that's why a banking app, if it's my bank, I'll probably use it at least twice a month. So there's value for it.
Yes.
the utility app for National Water and Umeme, it is competing because I can pay for my water from my bank, then I may not necessarily use this app.
Yes.
But you see what they've done is they've now opened it up and you can plug into multiple payment channels. The recent pronouncement by MTN, and really kudos to them, their API, making it open and allowing people to build on top of their platform is massive, especially for the guys who are doing payments. But not everything here needs payments.
Yeah.
It's a good thing.
And also because one end has been successful, we shouldn't put all our energy. We can spread out into other things.
Of course we can.
Because payments is quite successful for even Kenya.
Yeah, payments is a big thing. I mean, you can have payments in all sorts of things.
Yeah.
But it comes back. Not everybody thinks payments. If it's working in Kenya, like the agents, like you have the guys who distribute beer. In Kenya, Safaricom has made it very easy for them. You no longer have to carry cash. You have an agent code. You pay, money hits the account.
Done.
Now, it may not necessarily work here because of the mindset of the people who actually buy the beer. The small dookers.
Yeah.
They think it's a process. And then when you have these taxes that are being introduced, you need to look at the bigger spectrum of, are we stifling the ecosystem?
Someone said that the tech only highlights the society. If it's society, especially or a government or a country where we're led by, okay, technology is here, we want to fund it, but how do we fund it to help us as a government? And so depending on which side the government is lying, if we're happy with the people, we're going to make sure we have, happy products. Because someone said that if a government, see Facebook, Twitter, the whole shebang, now we have to pay, you understand?
Yeah.
Because it depends on how they feel, how they perceive it.
That there is, it's either a threat or a good value for government. I agree with you. And I guess for me the greatest challenge was really, the greatest setback was on mobile money. Social media, I mean, social media we can
survive.
We can probably. I hope we can.
Are we surviving? We are, but I think mobile money is true. I tried sending money yesterday and I was like, but we're still here.
Yeah, well, it has come down 0.5% for withdrawals.
But why do we have it?
Thank you. I've had people who call me and say, let me find you. Get me the cash. Because if you invoice me and you want me to pay you by mobile money, then be ready to lose
some percentage
the
of
transactional charges, then the withdrawal charges. It says, you know what, it will cost me about, even if on a border, it won't be more than 10,000.
It's less money, I'm telling you.
Yeah.
We can never complete this conversation, but yes, we're talking about startups or, success. And I think I like what you said about what success looks like, even at trials. Let people around you show you or tell you how good it is, how bad it is. And
yes, and will they be willing to pay for it?
Actually, yes.
Because you see, it can be a very good thing. The question is, can I pay for it? So, and many people think they will run the Facebook model, the Twitter model, where you have ads, what you call,
I'll make money off
in-ad ads. So you have an app, but then in the ad, the app's coming. That's where Facebook is making money. And you tell him, look, for you to make a proposition to a company to run an ad in your app, what volume of people do you need?
To bring in, I'm telling you. Thank you so much, Michael, this morning. That's it for Take Note. Have a good day.